The Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 have finally arrived, and they are bringing an excellent set of features in a tiny package. But are they better than the Galaxy Buds Pro? And are they worth that $150 asking price? In this video, I'll be answering both of those questions along with giving you my complete review of these earbuds. I will also be giving you some comparisons towards the end of this video so you can see exactly how they stack up in the mid-range $150 market. Now, for transparency and full disclosure, I bought the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 with my own money for testing and review purposes. The means by which I received these products does not color my review or comparisons in any way. No other compensation was involved, and no one was able to see this video prior to it being published. In other words, the brands will be seeing this video at the exact same time that you are. So now let's not waste any more time. So first up, let's talk about the connection and pairing. So these are using Bluetooth 5.2 with AAC and SBC as their connection codecs. If you're using a Samsung device, they will take advantage of Samsung's own scalable codec. While these can be paired with both iOS and Android devices, the Buds 2 are only truly compatible on the Android side since there is no app access for the Buds 2 on iOS. But we'll get more into the app a little later in this video. In addition to this, you do get fast pairing with Samsung devices. So you will see a pop-up prompt that'll ask you to pair your Galaxy Buds to your Galaxy phone if you have one of those in hand. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth range, I was able to get 39 feet or just under 12 meters. Now, obviously, this is going to vary depending on how many obstructions or walls you put in between the earbuds and the device that they're connected to. On top of that, these also feature dual connect or independent usage mode, and that's where you can use each earbud individually while the other is charging in the case. I know some people like to use one earbud and then halfway through the day swap out to the other one. If you're that person, they've got you covered. Now, with Samsung devices, they are also featuring seamless earbud connection, and that works with any Samsung devices that are signed into your Samsung account. So if you have a Samsung tablet or a Samsung laptop, you'll be able to fast switch between those devices. Now, to be clear, this is not a multi-point connection. This is more akin to a quick switch option. I just wanted to make that very clear. Now, when it comes to watching videos, lag, latency, anything like that, if you're watching videos on YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, Disney+, whatever app might be, there is little to no latency to be experienced with these. And that's the lag between the person talking and what you hear in your ears. Now, I tested this on both iOS and Android devices, and there was no issues with that whatsoever. Now that we're speaking about latency, let's move over to a little bit of mobile gaming. So when you're playing casual games, stuff like Asphalt 9, Pokemon Go, 1945, stuff like that, there is no lag or issues to be really experienced with those types of games, both on iOS and on Android. But if you are using a Samsung phone, you do have access to a dedicated gaming mode that will improve that latency even further. So if you are playing any first-person shooters like Fortnite, PUBG, Call of Duty, stuff like that, you will notice a reduction in that latency on first-person shooter games. It makes it a little bit more immersive, makes the experience a bit better, so that's something that is available to Samsung users only. Now, one thing I do want to stress about gaming modes is that you only want to use them when you're actually gaming because they will cause a reduction in battery life and can cause some stability issues with the connection. So make sure that you're only using it when you're actually gaming. Otherwise, just leave that gaming mode turned off. Now, speaking about the battery, Samsung was claiming 5 hours with noise cancellation turned on and 7.5 hours with noise cancellation turned off, with an additional 4 charges on the case. In my own actual testing, I managed to get 5 hours and 12 minutes with noise cancellation turned on and 7 hours and 44 minutes with noise cancellation turned off. And you do get a full recharge of the buds in a little bit over an hour in my own testing. Now, as far as recharging the case itself, they do have USB Type-C and they also feature wireless charging, so you do have both options with the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2. Now, the case itself is 99% identical to that of the Galaxy Buds Pro, except for the charging pins are in different locations, so you can't really charge one earbud in the case of another. They do still have to stay with their own respective cases. Now, one thing I kind of don't like is that they went over to a gloss finish once again, instead of the matte finish that you got on the Buds Pro. Not really a fan of that, but it is what it is. Overall, it's still very small, still highly pocketable, and still one of the very best cases for true wireless earbuds on the market, at least in my personal opinion. Now, before we move into the next section, if you're into wireless earbuds, headphones, and things of that nature, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. Did you know that more than 80% of the people watching my videos aren't even subscribed? Help me change that. I'm trying to build a welcoming and positive community around audio technology, and I'd love it if you would join me. So now let's get into the comfort and controls. Now overall, the Galaxy Buds 2 are slightly smaller and lighter than the Galaxy Buds Pro. So overall, it is a very comfortable fit for both large and medium-sized ears. Now, if you are somebody with small ears, you will have to try these for yourself to see whether or not they will work for you. But overall for myself, I didn't experience any sort of physical fatigue, no pain in the cartilage of my ears after long listening sessions. So overall, very, very good. Now, sadly, we do not seem to have the pressure relief vents that we had on the Galaxy Buds Pro or that you find on the AirPods Pro. So if you're somebody who has an issue with earbuds building up pressure in your ears, you might have to look elsewhere for a different option. Now, when it comes to sleep, these are going to be great for back sleepers. Obviously, that's not going to be a problem. When it comes to side sleep, these were actually okay, at least for me personally. I didn't get a bunch of pressure in my ear from these, so overall, the shape is actually pretty conducive to that if you're somebody like me with large ears. And additionally, with the controls, you can shut off the touch controls, so if you're sleeping with them, you can avoid any sort of accidental touches. So overall, pretty good in my experience. Now on the topic of controls, these are featuring full touch controls, and you get in single, double, and triple tap along with a programmable touch and hold. Now the options that you have for the touch and hold are noise controls. That's what they come with default, so noise canceling and your ambient sound. But they can be swapped out individually, so you can have voice commands, you can have volume controls, or you can even have it where it can activate Spotify. Why Spotify specifically? I don't know, but that's the option that you have. Now, when it comes to the touch controls themselves, they are highly responsive and definitely one of the best touch control implementations that I've found on the market today. And thankfully, because they are very responsive, you can also shut them off in case you want to avoid any sort of accidental touches for whatever reason. So there is an option there if you want it. On top of that, there is a widget available for Android. You can put that right on your home screen of your phone, and that gives you two toggles. One is to shut off the touch controls, and the other one is to toggle the active noise cancellation or the ambient sound. So pretty convenient if you ask me. Now moving over to the app support. Now the app that we're talking about here is the Galaxy Wearable App. Now this app can be found on both Android and on iOS. Sadly, the one for iOS does not support the Galaxy Buds Pro or the Galaxy Buds 2, at least not yet. When it comes to Samsung devices specifically, there are a couple of options that are only available to those Samsung devices. So the main differences are going to be the Bixby voice wake up, so you're going to have that option. You're also going to have the option to use ambient sound during calls, and then you're going to have the labs section, which is going to give you the access to the dedicated gaming mode, along with the double tap on the earbud edge for an additional control option on these earbuds. And then when it comes to your standard Android, so your Pixels and your other devices that are non-Samsung, you're still going to have access to most of the features. So you still get access to the noise controls for active noise cancellation and ambient mode with the ambient slider, EQ presets, programmable touch controls, notification settings, accessibility settings, and firmware updates. So they've got all of that still available to standard Android users or non-Samsung users. Now, the Android app experience is still one of the cleanest and smoothest of any headphones on the market, in my personal opinion. So you get a lot of apps out there that are kind of crappy. This isn't one of them. However, and I have to make this point very clear, I'm still really not happy about the fact that there is still no support for iOS users. So now let's get into some performance. So first of all, the active noise cancellation. So these have good ANC, nice and strong, but definitely not the best on the market. It's good against steady low and mid frequencies. So engines, air conditioners, refrigerators, things of that nature, totally going to have you covered there, but not very good against loud, sudden noises or people's voices. But these can be improved by using better tips than what are included in the box. I'm personally using the SpinFit tips, but there's also going to be options available from companies that comply with memory foam that'll definitely increase that noise isolation. So don't be surprised if we see those coming very soon. Moving over to the ambient sound, these have a good ambient mode, and they do have some adjustability with their slider, which gives you access to 3 options, a low, a medium, and a high. Overall, it's pretty good, but even at its highest setting, it is still not super loud. I kind of wish it was just slightly louder. That's just my personal opinion. But aside from that, at the very least, it doesn't sound overly processed. It actually leans more towards a natural sound, still not quite on par with like the Apple AirPods Pro, but overall, still very, very good. Now moving over to the volume, in my opinion, these are getting an 8.5 out of 10, so plenty loud. For me, comfortable listening comes in at 65 to 80%, with plenty of overhead if I'm watching a video with low dialogue or anything of that nature. I'll still have a few clicks where I can boost up the volume and hear what's being said. So for me, the volume is very good. But just to make things clear, because there are reviews out there of people that said that these didn't have enough volume. Now, for some people, everybody's hearing is going to be different. Some people require max volume because they're always listening to stuff at max volume or they're always blasting music in their car. So obviously their volume ceiling is going to be higher than the rest of us. If you're that kind of a person, then yeah, these might not be enough for you. But for the rest of us, these have plenty of volume. I just wanted to make that clear. Now moving over to the sound quality, Samsung is once again using their two-way speaker system with the Galaxy Buds 2, one dedicated to the bass and mids and the other dedicated to the treble. Overall, these seem to have a shallow V-shaped sound, accurate bass, good mids, and decent treble. AKG's tuning on the Galaxy Buds line has been excellent across all of the iterations of the Galaxy Buds, and these are no exception. Things get a bit more fun when you activate the dynamic EQ preset. That gives you a deeper V with some boosted bass and some boosted treble. But let's go ahead and break it down. So first up, the bass. Now these have a good bass hit. It's tight and accurate, and you get some good sub-bass rumble. But there's no boominess or muddiness unless you activate that bass boost EQ. Then it just becomes a little distorted in my personal opinion. Now, as far as the test track that I recommend, I'm using Daft Punk, Doing It Right. And the sub-bass hits on that song, you need to add that to your playlist. Moving over to the mid-range. The mids are present without being too forward, so they're not super in your face. You're getting solid vocal clarity here. Excellent with both male and female singers. So very, very good. As far as the test track, I was using Creedence Clearwater Revival. Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Now, if you haven't heard that song, then I don't know where you've been. Must have been sleeping under a rock or something, but you definitely got to check that out. John's grittiness and huskiness in his voice, you really got to enjoy that with these. Now, moving over to the treble. The treble is clear and bright with no harshness, no sibilance. The sound is not fatiguing in any way. And there's actually some pretty decent detail in soundstage with the Galaxy Buds 2. Now, for my test track, I was using the London Philharmonic Orchestra, A Midsummer Night's Dream. When you hear the strings come in with this, the full instrumentation of the orchestra, it's something to be experienced. And if you're on a Galaxy device, make sure you turn on that Dolby Atmos. You're going to enjoy that. Trust me on that. Now, when it comes to any negatives, for me, the biggest one is going to be the lack of iOS support. Like, come on, Samsung, like, what are you doing here? Even the Beats Studio Buds gives you app support on Androids. So I don't know what's going on with Samsung on this, but they really need to address this, because why would you exclude a huge segment of the market? Why would you avoid cutting into Apple's own sales on their own products? Like, it makes no sense to me, to be completely honest, but it is what it is. I just wanted to call that out. Now, also the missing features outside of Samsung, like Android devices should also get access to that gaming mode, right? So that'd be something kind of cool to see. And then third, the volume issue, where for some people it might not be enough, but for the rest of us it is. But I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it. So now let's get into the comparison portion. And that's going to bring me over to my first question. Are the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 better than the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro? Nope. Let me explain. The Galaxy Buds Pro, they win, and they win because of better sound quality, louder volume, stronger active noise cancellation, stronger ambient sound, improved comfort, at least for me, so that's a little subjective. But these are Samsung's flagship earbuds. So the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 were never designed to beat the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. So they were designed to be the little brother. They were designed to be an upgrade to the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. That's what they were designed to be. So the Galaxy Buds Pro are still the top dog in Samsung's earbud lineup. Now that brings me to question number 2. Are the Galaxy Buds 2 worth their $150 price tag? Unfortunately, the answer to that is no. While they do bring plenty of quality to the table, there are better options available not only at the $150 price point, but also at the $100 price point from companies like Soundcore and One More. But to be fair, if you are in the Samsung ecosystem, the Galaxy Buds 2 are still an excellent choice for you. Otherwise, if you would like to hear about some alternatives, please feel free to ask any of those questions down in the comment section below, and I'll gladly help you out personally. So now let's move over into the rankings. First up, we've got the ambient sound. So in first place, we've got the Galaxy Buds Pro. In second place, we've got the Galaxy Buds 2. And in third place, we've got the Beats Studio Buds. Now, the Galaxy Buds Pro here definitely have the best ambient sound out of these three. It seems like the mics seem to be much more sensitive, and in the app, you have the ability to truly get these pumped up so you can pull in a lot of external sound or really just adjust it to your own personal taste. That's what put them in first place. Now for the active noise cancellation. In first place, we've got the Galaxy Buds Pro. In second place, you've got the Beats Studio Buds, and in third, we've got the Galaxy Buds 2. Now, the Buds Pro pulled ahead of the Beats Studio Buds with their high and low option, where the high ANC option is noticeably stronger than that of the Beats Studio Buds. But the Beats Studio Buds are no slouch. They definitely block out a lot of the ambient sound, and they do a better job than the Galaxy Buds 2 for sure. So now let's move over to the volume ranking. In first place, we've got the Galaxy Buds Pro. In second place, we've got the Beats Studio Buds. In third place, we're bringing in the Sennheiser CX True Wireless. And in fourth place, we've got the Galaxy Buds 2. Now, to be clear, none of these are quiet earbuds. All of them get too loud for me personally, so any of these options will do a good job for you. But if you want the loudest of the loudest, you're going to have to go with the Galaxy Buds Pro or the Beats Studio Buds. Now let's move over to the sound quality. In first place, we've got the Sennheiser CX True Wireless. In second place, we've got the Beats Studio Buds. In third place, we've got the Galaxy Buds Pro. And in fourth place, we've got the Galaxy Buds 2. Now, Sennheiser's tuning here, it should come as no surprise. It sounds better than the other three, at least to my ears. It is much more refined. You get a strong bass hit, but you still get all your mids and all your clarity in the treble. Now, the Beats Studio Buds come very close to toppling the Sennheiser CX. The new Beats sound from Apple is something completely different than what we've heard from Beats before. And I have to emphasize this because a lot of people still have that mentality about Beats just being muddy bass cannons, and this is not it. Nothing could be further from the truth. So overall, excellent sound. And honestly, with any of these four, you would definitely be happy with that sound quality. Believe you me. So now let's move over to some mic quality samples. And this way you can hear the mic quality sample for all four of these earbuds to see which one is going to work best for you. All right, so here we have the mic quality test for the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2. Obviously, we're indoors in a semi-quiet environment. So testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have the mic quality test for the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. Obviously, we're indoors once again in a semi-quiet environment. So testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have the mic quality test for the Beats Studio Buds. So testing, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, once again, we are indoors in a semi-quiet environment. So once again, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have the mic quality test for the Sennheiser CX True Wireless. So testing, 1, 2, 3. Once again, we're back indoors in a semi-quiet environment. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 in a simulated crowd noise environment, similar to like a crowded bar or maybe a busy restaurant. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro in a simulated crowd noise environment, sort of like a crowded cafe or maybe a busy train station, something along those lines. So testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, and here we have the Beats Studio Buds in a simulated crowd noise environment, so like a busy train station or maybe a busy bar, something like that. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Sennheiser CX True Wireless in a simulated crowd noise environment, so like a busy restaurant or maybe a crowded cafe, something along those lines. So testing, 1, 2, 3. As always, you're going to have to be the judge of the call quality down in the comment section. Now, with all of that out of the way, if you're interested in checking out my reviews of either the Sennheiser CX or the Beats Studio Buds, I'm going to leave those up here for you right on the screen. With all that said, I'm out of here. Peace.